These bees were not stinging me at all, which told me that they didn't feel threatened by me. So I chose not to wear my protective equipment for this removal, as I felt perfectly safe around the bees and it was a pretty straightforward removal. Beekeeping gear is big and bulky, and it has to be to protect you from getting stung. But it can also get in the way and make it harder to move, see, and grab things with the precision you need when working with such small creatures. And I actually find it very relaxing to work with bees. Whatever you're thinking about or whatever is on your mind melts away the second you enter a beehive. All of your focus, energy, and attention has to go to the bees to keep you and them safe. And bee removals like this are my favorite thing to do as a beekeeper. They let me see how bees build and manage their hives without any human interference or without humans making decisions for them. Here you can see me gently move a cluster of bees with my hive tool to see if the queen is underneath. She wasn't there, but you always have to be on the lookout for her. Finding the queen bee is the key to any successful bee removal. This is because the bees are loyal to their queen and they'll follow her wherever she goes. But I didn't think I had the queen yet, so I kept on removing comb. Beekeeping takes a lot of patience, and you can't rush the bees or the removal process. Above all else, you have to learn to listen to the bees. I knew I was getting close to the end of the hive. As I was removing some of the last pieces of comb, I ran into the flushing mechanism of the toilet, but the bees had built it right into the blueprint for their home, and they had actually built comb off of it. Here's what that looked like from my view, and you can see how close I am to the end here. I peeled the piece of comb off the flushing mechanism and it was loaded with vibrant yellow and orange pollen. After I removed all of the comb, there were still a ton of bees in the toilet, and I had to search through them to find the queen. I started to scoop some bees off the sides of the tank, but I didn't have to do that for long as suddenly I spotted the queen crawling up the side of the tank surrounded by her attendant bees. Here's a better shot of her in the queen clip, which is designed to hold the queen inside since she's larger than all the other bees. You can see her crawling along the bottom of the clip here. After I set the queen in the new hive, I took a piece of plastic foundation and I made a little bee bridge from the toilet to the new hive so that the bees could walk right in. After a few minutes, it worked, and the bees went marching down the bridge and into the new hive to be with their queen and their colony. They followed the scents and signals from the other bees to find their way into their new home. But there were still some bees who hadn't gotten the message yet. So to encourage the straggler bees that were still in the toilet to move along with their colony, I gave them some smoke. I used my smoker to help me get the bees to move when and where I needed them to. Bees react to the smoke the same way humans do, and they quickly move away from it. It was really beautiful to watch the bees move across that bright yellow bee bridge. I waited with them and I gave them just a bit more smoke to help them find their way to their colony. You can see here that most of the bees had moved out of the toilet, and at this point they recognized the beehive box as their new home. I waited as long as I could so that as many bees as possible would get into the new hive, but also so that I would have enough daylight to get the bees settled into their new home. I slid the cover on the hive, and I gave the bees a bit longer as I packed up all of my equipment, but the sun was setting quickly. So I carefully picked up the hive, and I carried it to my truck.